Hello, beautiful.
Hello.
How are you?
Right. I'm okay. I feel like I've only just like finished my day, and now you just feel like you've got so much to do. And then I'm like back in front of the computer again. But I'm obviously this evening's good to be in front of the computer, but I just feel like I've just sat down.
Oh, do you know what? Honestly, I think after having a week,
How are you?
I'm feeling much better today. I finally bit the bullet after much persistence from our moon goddess, Natalie. I spoke to the doctor and yeah, I've got a sinus infection, which was just getting progressively worse.
You sound croaky.
I actually sound a lot better than I did yesterday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my hot water's gone at the minute as well. So went round to Nan's and she's let me borrow a bath. And I've had on day 2 of the antibiotics, which isn't ideal, but sometimes we all need help, don't we?
Take that triotic stuff.
Yeah, I've been taking that every day. Yeah, it literally kicked the absolute living daylights out of me, to say it in the most nicest way possible. But other than that, I'm all good. I'm on the mend. How are you both?
I'm good. I'm very tired, but I just partied too hard this weekend.
I see you partying hard this weekend.
Mate, I was like crazy. I don't know what I'm literally like, I don't know what got into me.
I love it. You got into you. You was feeling yourself, girl.
I was really feeling myself.
You had tunes on. I had all that. Bring it back. Sing it back.
I'm like the worst singer.
I guarantee living through you this weekend. I swear to God.
But the thing is, I wouldn't normally put shit on Instagram, but I'm just not caring.
Oh, we need that, like, liveliness. Like, at the end of the day, I think we all know that nothing is perfect. And sometimes when we show our imperfections, we realise that that's actually what people love so much more.
Oh my God, my singing is one of my imperfections.
I embrace it, girl.
I love it.
Embrace it. I love it.
There's nothing better than seeing someone have fun.
Yeah, exactly, right?
It's the best thing ever.
How are you, Nat?
I'm okay. Thank you very much, my darling. I've had my wisdom tooth removed, which was a nightmare. And then I was on antibiotics. So I was in pain for a good 9 days, but I feel like I'm finally coming through the other side. And yeah, everything's good. I'm like, everything's good, isn't it? Please stay this way. But no, I do feel so much better. And I'm just so grateful. Like, it's crazy. I've got a really high pain threshold anyway. So when I was feeling that amount of pain, I was just trying to push through and I kept getting fobbed off and I was doubting my intuition and what I believed. And then like 7 days after, I was like, no, there's something's got to be wrong here. And it was over the Easter weekend, which is typical because obviously all the dentists are shut. But luckily, I was very grateful that I got an appointment and he gave me antibiotics, and within the first 24 hours I could reopen my mouth, so definitely helping. But yeah, I had a really chilled weekend. I've also deleted my Instagram and I feel amazing. Like, I deactivated it.
You actually have to do that, don't you? You have to like log on.
Yeah, so I deactivated it because I was just a bit like, I just need a break. And then after these 21 days, I'm like, I don't think I want to go back. I don't think I want to go back, mate. And if I do, I want to start fresh. It's a part of me as well, maybe about releasing that old identified self in a way. I feel like when I was looking back through the photos and stuff, I'm letting it go with kindness, compassion, love, empathy. But I'm ready to step into my next level self. And I feel like it's necessary for me to leave that behind for now. But obviously I wanted to keep the memories. I didn't want to just lose them because I've got like 10 years of my life on that app.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
So hard. And I was just a bit like, I don't know what I want to do with it. So I deactivated it. Then Charlie was like, be careful because they might just delete it if you don't reactivate it in a certain amount of time. Then I started panicking because I was like, oh, there are so many photos, videos. Like, there was one of my little brother when he was tiny talking to me about the solar system with a list, and my heart just melted. And I was like, they're the things I want to keep. Like, anyway, I've managed to request, it's called a data download. So apparently everything that you've had on Instagram, like messages, DMs, anything like that, all gets sent to you in a file and you can keep it. So I request to get that data download, and then it wouldn't let me deactivate it. So my profile was active, and I was like, oh, if people start seeing my name, they might start messaging, and I don't want to get sucked back into the Instagram world. So I just went through and archived all my posts. I deleted my picture, I deleted my bio, I changed my name, so that if anyone does look for me, they won't be able to find me because it's like an empty profile. And yeah, my presence has left the Instagram house. But it feels amazing. It just feels like I'm getting a little bit of freedom, and I'm really enjoying living in the present moment. So yeah, to summarise, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Good.
I'm so proud of you, girl. I'm so proud of you, man. Do you know
How are you, Chloe? Sorry to interrupt you, Charlie. How are you? Because I haven't caught up with you either.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm filled with anxiety today. But I think that's probably partying, and also, was you on the call yesterday?
Yes.
When I was back downstairs.
Yes, I missed your bit. I was going to speak to you about this. I'll go back, remind me, because my brain's got 100 things going on right now. But I missed the part where I got the gist of it about you talking about your friend and with the negative sort of environment. But so we'll go back to that. But yes, I did hear you mention about your neighbours. How has that been today?
Well, I went to my godparents. I tend to go to my godparents on a Wednesday just to go and work from there. Like their son and me tend to go, and it just means that like my godfather goes and gets like nice food, and it's just like gets us away from both being in our flats by ourselves. Just like seeing them. So I don't actually know, but I can hear them doing things now, but they're not banging now, they're just moving things around, which is fine. It was a fact of, my God, I will send you the voice note, the recording, and that's just me in my flat. It's like it's not just building work, it's bad. But no, I haven't seen them. And even when I know what car's there now, and even when I pulled up and like came upstairs, I was nervous to bump into them, and I don't like this feeling. And I know I didn't do anything wrong, and I really want to just see them and be like, look, I don't want to get off on the wrong foot, but I haven't seen them, and I just hate this feeling. And
I know
it's
playing on your mind. I get you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big time. And I haven't done any workouts. Right, I think once tomorrow I wake up and do a workout, I'm hoping that might release some of it. But I don't know why I'm feeling like this, to be honest. I don't want to. I really thought I was going to be in a good place, but it's fine. We carry on, don't we? I'm going to let myself feel it. I'm learning this. I really, really am.
I know Charlie's literally going through the same thing about learning how to just feel.
I'm thinking to myself, like the whole topic that we're talking about. Well, what we wanted to touch on today was well-being, and obviously it's us three. So
it's just us three.
It's us three today, and you know what? I'm quite glad, because it can be
nice.
a good intimate chat, and I'm sure all the ladies will catch up on the replay. So we'll just say hey to everyone on the replay. We are the ladies of Put You First. My name is Charlie Grech. I'm 27 years young. We've got our absolute beautiful moon goddess, Natalie Maynard. If you want to introduce yourself quickly.
Hello, I am Natalie. I'm 29 years old, and I am from Essex. And yes, I am your moon goddess.
And Chloe, introduce yourself.
I'm Chloe. I'm 30. I'm from London. Not a moon goddess as such. I'm getting into it though. Hi.
And we always like to just start off with gratitude. As we always say, Wednesday is usually a hump day for many people, but hopefully we can change that for you. And if you don't know what Put You First is, here is a beautiful video of all the women in our community, because it is not just us. We do have a weekly Self-Care Sunday call, which is our global call for women all over the world. And this is Put You First.
I put me first to put you first.
I put me first to put you first. So yes, I'm still putting me first to put you first. So I'm learning that I have to put me first to put you first. There's nothing better than seeing all these beautiful faces jumping on. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Color
ourselves put you first. That is what our community is. That is what our movement is.
Seeing everyone's growth and witnessing their own aha moments. It's like magic happening right in front of your eyes, and that's very special.
You are here today because this community is meant for you. And all you have to do is just say yes.
I'm just actually flabbergasted of how many women are on here.
And when you have that group support and you are not by yourself, things start changing in your life.
That's what we're creating with this community. We're creating a support system, physically, mentally, financially, to be able to live in a vibration of abundance and embrace our most authentic self and share our happiness together.
It's something incredible, and our health is so important, especially at a time like this.
And I'm learning more about myself every day, and learning more about all the women in the community as well, because it is just safe space.
Gift, because this is what it is, ladies. It is a gift that we have got to give to women all over the world, because without this gift I wouldn't be the lady that I am speaking on this call today.
But it's now my time to think about me, and oh God.
PutUFirst has now not just become this incredible community, but we even have what's called a 7-day challenge that we do together.
PutUFirst 7-day challenge. Holy Moses.
This challenge made me aware of why I was doing that or why I needed to do it more. And it also forces you into small, daily, simple habits that can just start you back on the right track. So there's so many things in this challenge that you ladies gonna learn that it's amazing, because it's make you be the woman that you always wanted to be.
Joined a lot of self-care challenges and groups and stuff, and they're a lot of fluff. This is not fluff. This is fluff free.
Mental shift that I have received, knowing now about the excuses that I use, the way that I self-sabotage myself, the perception that I had on my own reality and the experiences that I was going through. Now knowing that has helped me become the person that I am today, and it's all because I said yes.
There are amazing women that I've met, that I laughed with, cried with. Anytime we're on the call, we're just like, I actually want to even cry because it's done so much for me.
Maybe you are someone that's not putting yourself first. You are someone that needs to surround yourself with more women like this.
I said yes. I said yes to this opportunity because I believe it has the power to change lives.
Because all you have to do, everyone, is just say yes.
Oh, it always gets me emotional.
I know.
I'm feeling it today. Hey, beautiful Claire Bear, how are you? Oh, do you know what, girls? I know it's just us four, but I'm so grateful because I really am looking forward to a nice, intimate chat. And as me and Nat was saying today, the topic is well-being. And for me, this last week has been a major realization of what true well-being is. Well-being isn't just the food that you eat or the health products that you take. It's the people in your life. It's the energy that you've got around you. It's the support system. It's the spiritual guidance that you have. I think it's such an important thing, especially in the world today and all the changes that we're going through as a collective, not just as women, but as men. I feel that whoever's got your ear has really got your life. And I'm just so glad because, as many of you know, I've been really unwell, like extremely unwell this week. And our health system has extremely failed me and a lot of people in my family and in my life. And it's caused a lot of distrust within me to actually ask for help, not just physically within my community, but also with doctors. And I was facing a hell of a lot of resistance this week. Luckily, we had Natalie, my beautiful soul sister, help me get out of my own way and just said to me, like, you're not getting better. You're really not getting better. you need to go to the doctor, you need to ask for help. And I did. And I'm really against using medication. For those of you that know my story already know that my mum would pop a pill for anything. I mean, like, oh, you can't sleep, have a diazepam. It was just literally a medicine cupboard. Like there was a pill for everything, even down to, you know, that cliche saying that people say, like, oh, if I could give you a pill to take away all the pain, I would. Like, that was literally my mum saying. So I like don't even own paracetamol. I don't even own any anti-inflammatories. So I've just literally been persevering on the Moringa CBD patch and trying to sweat it out. But I couldn't do it on my own this week. And then I started blaming my body. I started getting quite angry with myself internally. A lot of trauma was coming up as well because I was feeling like a victim. I was feeling quite low. And like when you're physically low, we all know how we get. Like I was just replaying certain situations. I was feeling like I was alone. I was looking around in my house and I'm just like, oh my God, like, have I made the right decisions in my life? Like literally contemplating everything. And I'm just so grateful because when I am like that, I have got soul sisters. Claire, you're one of them. Chloe, you're one of them. You already know this now. And that you know. And I'm just so grateful because it's made me realise that I don't always have to be the strong one. And when I am feeling like I need support and I need help, even without asking, the right people do show up. And I just want you to know that you're them right people for me. And you've helped me so much this week. And you've helped me realise that it really doesn't matter what I have in my life right now or what I don't have in my life right now, as long as I've got good people around me, helping me, supporting me, loving me. And the only way that they can do that is because the capacity that they have to love themselves. And I think this is a really, really big topic because a lot of us will judge and blame people for not being able to help us the way that we need help, but they can only help us at their capacity of being able to help themselves. So I've gone through a lot of ups and downs this week, especially it's my mum's birthday on the 16th of April, so Aries season is always something that's heightened in emotions for me. My moon is in Aries, so I feel like I'm doing a lot of inner trauma work. I feel like I sound like Phoebe from Friends right now.
Sing us a song.
He's the best.
Smelly cat. Like, I mean, I just want you all to know like how blessed and grateful I am, because even down to this, like Wake Up Wednesdays, I wanted to show up today because I knew that I was going to be able to benefit from this experience with you all as much as we get to benefit it ourselves. Yeah, and I just thought well-being is just such a big topic.
I love him. I can't.
I think people are just like, to see him. No, joking. Yeah, like well-being. I think that people just think it's not just physical health. It's not just exercise. It's about mental health. And mental health, like you can only be at the frequency and vibration of your best if you're in an environment is benefiting and supporting that growth. And even with us, like we have got an incredible support system. We do have an incredible women's community, PutUFirst, that we're all a part of, that we're all leading, that we're all massively feeling supported by. But even with that, even with Moringa, even with CBD patches, even with maybe the best support system, and even with all these things, like we still experience ups and downs and we still experience dips in our well-being. And I want people to know that like that's okay, and it's okay to fall back down, because like that's what builds your resilience, and that's what makes you stronger to be able to deal with the next challenge that's going to arise. Because yeah, life is just like, as depressing as it might sound, but also exciting at the same time. It's just like a constant evolving journey of challenges that we get to face to learn more about ourselves. And also I've realized, especially with the Negative People webinar, I wasn't on it live last night, but it's something that's always hit home with me. Of yesterday, I was shaking, I had hot and cold sweats, I had physical pain in my head, like I could barely breathe. I was on the phone to Nat, and even me, I was on the phone and I was going, oh my God, I'm being such a victim. Like, I'm beating myself up, like actually emotionally beating myself up for not feeling well. And I think that no matter how far along our journey we are, and no matter what's expected of us, I've even had some certain people say to me this last week, like, oh my God, Charlie, I thought you were vibrating so high that you'd never get ill. And I just think like that's such toxic positivity and like not healthy for anyone to feel like that, because we are human beings. Yes, we are spiritual beings living a human experience, but this is a flesh suit that my soul is traveling in right now, and I need to look after it. Like I can't just keep going when I'm on 1%. And I just think that we need to speak about things like this more. Like we need to have more open conversations about what we're going through and how it's physically affecting us as well as mentally affecting us. And I think that's the importance of overall well-being. And I'd love to hear, obviously, your thoughts on all of this.
Agree. Sorry.
I feel like it's so difficult because at the start of this journey as well, over a year and a half ago, October 2019, like you make the decisions mentally, you want to make the changes physically, but you're right, Charlie, it's all different elements, like the environment that you're in. If you're making the decisions, you can make all the decisions in the world that I'm going to change my mindset, I'm going to change my physical health, I'm going to really improve myself in all these areas. But if you're in an unsupported environment, or I actually had this conversation with someone earlier in the week, because she was saying that she really wanted to make these changes. And she was like, but it's just so difficult because I'll have a conversation with you and I'll get filled with all this amazing energy and I'll feel like I can take on the world. And then I come away from you and I go back to the same friends, the same environment, and her thoughts may have changed for a split second, but as soon as you get back into that environment and surround yourself with them same people, then that's when you don't hit your goals, you don't achieve your targets, you don't make the change that you genuinely want to make in your life. Because like Charlie said, it's about surrounding yourself with people who are on the same frequency and who know how to help you in a way that you need to be supported at the time. It's so easy for us, like Charlie said, we can get a really great support system, but also it does take so much persistence and dedication into changing ourselves. Like Charlie, when you say that you found it really difficult to ask for help, I remember we spoke to Heidi when we had this conversation about PutUFirst before we even knew what PutUFirst was, the first conversation. And we was talking about asking for help, and we was like, this has been a big thing for us to come over and say this to you. And she was like, why? And we was like, oh, in London, like asking for help is like a massive sign of weakness. Like if you ask for help, people judge you and they're like, oh, you need my help. That's like to like hold over you. And Heidi was like, I'll help you. We was like, okay. Like it was just like we wasn't used to receiving that. And I feel like that's what's so beautiful about PutUFirst. It's that everyone's come together with that intention, that not only are they there to help themselves, but they really are there to help each other in the process. And it's really important what you said, Charlie, about the ups and downs, because that is what life is about. And I think when you are with the right support system, you can absolutely weather any single storm that you go through. I've learned that. I've really learned that. And it's so true, even when you say, Charlie, about your physical health and the fact that someone said that to you about vibrating high. I feel you. Like when my wisdom tooth was bad and I was a bit like, why? Like I brush my teeth twice a day, I floss, I use this, I do that. And I was like, why is this so bad? But we beat ourselves up, and you're right, we are a spiritual being living a human experience. And sometimes things outside of our control happen, but it really is about the way that we work through it. And I'm so proud of you, I just want to say, because you have literally been on such a roller coaster this week. But even just to see your face showing up for yourself and for your community and everyone that you love in your life right now on this Wake Up Wednesdays, I just want to say that I am grateful for you. So thank you for being here. And well done for being so strong, Charlie. Honestly, proud of you.
Making me emotional.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Do you know what? It has been a bit of a week. Like I've experienced some things personally as well this week. And I realised that there's a difference between putting yourself first and being selfish. And many times in my life when I've been vulnerable and I've needed help, people have taken advantage of me. And this week I spoke up about that, and it wasn't received positively. But I knew that I had to speak my truth and be authentic and not sacrifice my values, even though I felt vulnerable and I didn't really have the strength to be as direct as I usually am. Like, I'm a very honest and direct character. Like, that comes naturally to me. But when I'm feeling low and I'm around people that I care about and that I feel like they actually have my best interest at heart as well as theirs, this week I realised that there can be people in our lives that when we need them, the only reason why they are still around is because they want something. Not everyone is like that, but we will have these people in our life still. These can be friends, these can be family members, these can be partners, but we need to be very aware of if we're being taken advantage of. And if you say something and you say no, one thing I'm going to say is that does not mean convince me. Regardless if somebody wants something from you or expects something from you, if you say no, that means no. And you have every single right to say that at any point, any given moment, and no one can take that away from you, because as much as yes is a very important thing to say, no is a complete sentence. And this week I've definitely learned that. And it was definitely a hard thing to learn, especially with the person that I learned it with, because I did think that they were my friend and they was there to help me. I don't think their full intention realised what they were doing at that time. I just believe it's a lack of awareness. But I know that a lot of people go through this, and I know a lot of us go through this at the moment in so many relationships, even when it comes down to doctors. Like, if you go to your doctor and you've got a cold or the flu or something, and they offer you antidepressants, like, they are not seeing you, they are not hearing you, they are not acknowledging you. If you do not feel comfortable to take something, it is your God-given right to say no. To say no, I'm not happy with that, I'm not comfortable with that, that's not what I want. I understand that you're offering me this, but are you offering me this to benefit you and your prescription rate, or maybe what you want? Or are you offering this is because this is actually what's going to benefit me and this is actually what I need? And I think it's our responsibility to keep ourselves safe in a holistic way of focusing on our well-being and realizing these moments, and when people are maybe pushing you to sacrifice your values. And when we're vulnerable, unfortunately, this can be when it tends to happen the most. And I've gone through it. Like, I've gone through it so many times, where I'm 27 now and it literally happened to me, and I was literally asking myself the question, I thought I dealt with this. Like, what am I not learning from this situation? Like, and then I started beating myself up, and then I just realised that no matter how far along we are in our journey, no matter how resilient we become, no matter how positive we are, there's always going to be people out there that are not going to be on the same frequency as you, and they're not going to understand themselves enough to be able to catch their ego and catch their reaction. But it's down to us to not take it personally, even when we are at our lowest. And sometimes when we do, like, it's paramount that you reach out to someone that can hold you together when you are about to fall apart. And I mean, you've all been there for me this week. Like, Nat, oh my God, you are just my soul sister, my saving grace. Like, you are my sister. Like, you're not just my soul sister, you're my earth sister. Like, I love you so much. And
I love you.
I'm so blessed. I mean, I got nearly a little bit emotional, but I'm not the only one that's been through this. We've all been through this. Do you know what I mean? We've all been taken advantage of, like, in so many different ways. And then we blame ourselves for not knowing better. But that's not going to help us. Like, we need to love ourselves more through this process and make sure that we're leaning on the right people who can actually help us help ourselves in a way that's best for us. And I think that as much as communication is such a key thing, but comprehending what someone says is also equally important. So you can communicate till the cows come home, and someone can be able to write down what you say and reiterate it to you. But if they don't actually understand what you mean in that moment, then there's no communication.
Irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. And I think that's something that no matter how much we explain something and how much we want it to be perceived in a certain way, there's just certain people that have this filter on their world of focusing on only what they want. And I think like this is a big topic for well-being, especially within the feminine and masculine. Like I do believe that we are going through a major shift at the moment, leaning into divine feminine, leaning out of toxic masculine, and I think there's a lot of toxic spirituality going on at the moment, and I just want everyone to know that like this is real. Like we all go through shit, we all go through trauma, but we can get through it as long as we are true to ourselves and we speak to the right people who are not only out to help us to gain something for themselves, but they're actually doing the work that they're asking you to do. Do you know what I mean? I think it's so important that you speak to the right people and they know what you need and they're not just telling you what they think you should do. And I think there's a lot of forums out there's a lot of communities out there, and I'm not down treading on anyone, but I just think it's so important for people to just have real open conversations about things like this. Like, put you first and what I say, I don't expect everyone to agree with me. Sometimes I change my mind on my own values. So I want people to really be able to speak up and know that how they're feeling is valid, and also that what they believe and what they're experiencing, yes, it might feel very real to you right now, but it doesn't have to be like who you are forever. And what's happened to you doesn't have to affect you for the rest of your life. Like, yes, it can give you limitations and different belief systems that have kept you safe, but also being aware of why you are the way that you are today because of what's happened to you is such a great foundation for you to build the person that you want to be moving forward, not for you to create your own prison and stay stuck behind four walls of these filters that we put around ourselves. So I know, Claire, me and you had a really good chat last week.
We did.
About like really open communication. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think.
Literally, what you just said then about when you bring that yourself to that awareness, you gift yourself with the choice again, rather than like you say, causing your own prison and trapping yourself in a cycle. You're gifting yourself the choice to live in the awareness and know that that is it, and you're owning that that is it, or to choose to be different and to go down a path of the person you do want to become, the person you are creating, the person that you were always that person. You just don't realize it until you unlock those little doors of yourself bit by bit. And I really wanted to reflect back on a point that you'd made, where you said that you can get through what you're going through. You can do it. One thing that really helped me on my journey was flipping the potential outcome of I can to I have, and almost reminding myself that I have got through this, even if it's an experience that's brand new, never been through it before. There's a lot of things that I can link through other experiences when you're trying to figure it out. And I do feel like, because we are these multidimensional beings that see things through all these different lenses, and we can run through cycles of going around this thought, going around that thought, to remind yourself that you have got through this already, and you have got to that other end. And in another paradigm, another multiverse of this now moment, you're already living that best life. You just have to choose it in your now. You have got through it. And that really, really helped me through some really dark times. Because like you say, it's not always so easy to accept a community of people that want to support you and want to be there to hold your hand and reflect what you need and not what you want. Sometimes it's very difficult to acknowledge that part of yourself that needs that, and listen to yourself and go and receive it, because we do think we can just handle it ourselves. What's the point in bringing other people into it, or whatever the negative voice on our shoulder is trying to tell us? But it's so important, and it's so I don't want to use the word admiring, but it's an idolization when people do it for themselves, and it allows me to then step into that power more for myself. And I do believe it creates the domino effect of us all just following that unconditional love that we are at the core, and we all deserve to experience. It's just when you're feeling really crappy and you're going through whatever it is that you're going through in your moment, you can push yourself into more of an isolated state, especially if you've got avoidant tendencies or attachment issues where you run away from that kind of thing because you're so afraid of it. You're like, oh my God, someone cares about me. We're human, like you say, we're here and now in this 3D flesh and blood, skin, bone sack. You can't avoid that. So you do have to learn to embrace every aspect. And the fact that you've really embraced this negative time in your life is amazing. And I'm so proud of you, because it just steers me on to keep doing it the same for myself. And I'm sure it has the same light in others. It really is inspiring, because I know how difficult it is. And especially when you feel like the world's caving in, to be your own light, as well as be allowed to be guided by others to reflect that back to you. Girl, you got this.
I have got through this already.
Yes, that's so powerful, Claire. Like, so powerful.
I wrote that down.
I needed to be wrote down.
Oh, honestly, like, I love you all so much. Like, it's so important for us to be able to have these open conversations, because I know that, like, we are all mirrors of each other. And I'm just so blessed and grateful to be able to be a mirror for you, because you're a mirror for me, you're a mirror for me, you're a mirror for me. Like, and to be able to feel safe and to be able to surrender into the light and the dark, and to be able to trust and know that I can get through it. I have got through it. I am that I am now because of everything that I've been through, and that I am grateful. Like, I'm grateful for these challenges. I'm grateful that I now know that I have the strength and the light within me to be able to get through anything. And as much as that is scary, it's also quite revelating to know that, like, if I know I can do it, I know anyone can now. And for such a long time, I'm going to get emotional, but for such a long time, I looked for light in so much darkness that I had to turn it around and go inside, because it emptied me massively, and I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust my intuition. I had no faith, and I pretty much was alone, because I isolated myself from everything possible, because everything that I tried to look for light in just seemed to burn me even more. And now I know that all of that was necessary. Like, all of it was necessary, because it's brought me, like, PutUFirst wouldn't even exist if we didn't go through our trauma. If we weren't lost, if we didn't ask for help, we wouldn't have been able to create this incredible community with such a powerful intention to finally help women put themselves first. And I think that it's so powerful what we're doing, and I will continue to show up, because this is literally, I've never believed in anything more than what we're doing and what we're creating. This experience, I've never felt anything better than this. And I don't know about you all, but I've never trusted people so much. I've never had a space where I could be so authentically myself and not scared that someone's going to come and fact check me or something on my story and who I am. I know who I am. And if someone doesn't see that, then that's their business. Like, that's nothing to do with me. And I think that's something that's so powerful that I've really lent into this month, especially with my personal things going on. When things go on outside of us, it does make us question who we are and if we are making the right decisions. And sometimes we don't trust ourselves to make mistakes. Sometimes we don't trust ourselves to make the right decisions, because we're like, things are going wrong. Like, everything looks dark right now. But I'm realizing that's usually when the beautiful things flourish the most. Like, you know, the saying with the seeds grow out of darkness, diamonds grow under pressure. And now it's kind of like, I know that I'm going through a lot, but I'm going for a breakthrough. Like, it's definitely gonna be. I'm not even afraid to say that to you all, because I know that you can see that for me, and I see that for you all when you're going through your breakthroughs, and it's just such an exciting time in such a scary time.
It really is. And there's a few things that I want to touch on, Charlie, because even you wasn't on the webinar. We're obviously all part of the Put You First challenge, and we're right in the midst of it, in the middle of the week. And you wasn't on the webinar last night because she was very unwell. But Heidi actually was saying about that no is a complete sentence. And it got to a point where her kids would constantly be like, but why, and keep going on. And in the end, she made this phrase, what part of no do you not understand, the N or the O? And that was how she shut it down. And I was like, that's so powerful. And I just want to say one thing. I'm proud of you, because a long time ago, Charlie, you didn't stand strong in your no. And this week has been a huge test for you. And you stood strong in your no, and you didn't let anyone take your values away from you, and you didn't let anyone cross your boundaries. And that is huge growth. That is huge, huge, huge growth. And that's because of your dedication and consistency. And Chloe, I actually want to thank you, because you gave me massive aha moments yesterday. When you were sharing, obviously, like I said, I missed a few bits, but I got the gist. And you were saying about your friend coming to you and maybe offloading about her really crap relationship. I saw myself in the friend, and I was obviously in a very negative relationship for 10 years of my life. And my very best friend was there through absolutely all the highs, all the lows. And there was one point I kept breaking up with him because of whatever he'd done. And I'd cry and sob to her, and she'd put all the pieces back together, and then I'd go back. And then she'd have to do it again and again and again. And I didn't appreciate her, just like what Charlie was saying, when some people, like, they can be there, but I wasn't at the right frequency or the right energy myself to understand what I was doing. I was the victim. I was playing the victim. And I just wanted someone to listen to me and tell me it was going to be all right. And then I was going to do what I wanted to do anyway. But I didn't see what I was doing at the time. And I remember my best friend turned around and said to me one day, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it. Whatever you're going through, I don't want to know. I love you, but I can't do this anymore. And so I didn't tell her. And there was a massive argument that we had, quite a public argument, which is how she found out about it. Someone saw the argument and told her. And she was like, broke down crying, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, well, you told me not to tell you. And then she started crying even more, because she realised that she'd given me a bit of an ultimatum, like, you either carry on with what you're doing and don't tell me, and I'm not a part of your life. And then she broke down in a way, and she was like, I know that wasn't the right decision to make. And in a way, it made me respect my boundaries. But then I also saw myself in you, and maybe of taking too much away from someone who was just trying to hold so much space. And again, that is mad, because even in the webinar that we was taught last night, like, I saw myself in nearly every single person that came up on that negative people webinar. The criticizer, the victim, the convenient friend. Like, there was so many things. And all right, maybe one person in my life would pop up, like my ex-boyfriend or my mum, but then instantly there was also my nan, for example. She was the criticizer, a very big criticizer. And the one thing Heidi said as well was hurt people. And that resonated so loud in my head. I've heard that so many times, but it just clicked differently this time. Because with the criticizer, when I thought about my nan, and I realised the environment that she was in, and the fact that no wonder that she was the criticizer. And then I thought about the negative people with the person that takes all the time from you. And I thought about my ex-boyfriend, but then I could see myself in my ex-boyfriend. And it was like, as much as I could see so many people throughout my life experiences in this negative people webinar, I could also see myself in every single one. It sort of come full circle, which was quite beautiful, because it was a very profound moment, because it also allowed me to unlock a completely new level of forgiveness for myself, and for obviously everything else that I went through. And yeah, Chloe, the things that you were saying, and just being so honest and sharing your heart and being brave enough to just speak about the situations that you're going through, or the experiences, just really did click a few aha moments in my head, and you probably didn't realise you'd done that. So I just want to share a big thank you, and just my gratitude, because it's crazy what a community and a support system of having open conversations like what we're talking about can be so detrimental for your well-being and your personal growth. Not detrimental, that's the wrong word. Detrimental is the negative one, right? Anyway, you know what I mean.
I feel like it would be a detriment if you don't have a community where you
that's what I meant, I think.
I got that.
You got me.
Oh my God. Do you know what? I resonate so much because I've been the victim, I've been the criticizer, I've been the taker, like we've all been there. But that's how come we are such people, like we are the people that we are today, because we've looked back and we've reflected and we've gone, oh my God, I recognise those behaviours and those habits I no longer want to have.
Yeah.
It's my choice to choose to be better now and say, no, I'm not going to take this personally because it turns me into this person. Like my mum, for instance, I had to cut all ties with my mum because the person that I was becoming when she was around was such a horrible person. Like I would flip, I would go absolutely manic at the smallest little thing. Like she would pull a facial expression or just ask me how many sugars I wanted in my tea, and I'd be like, you know me, that's 20 sugars, and you don't even know how many sugars you have in my tea. Like just go mad, like, to be honest with you, to the point of where like I realised that me being around this person is making me someone who I don't like. So it's my choice and my responsibility to say no more. And as hard as it was, because it was my mum, it was my primary caregiver, it was the person that I always craved love and affection from. It was the one person that brought me into this world. So that was the one person that I thought I needed love from the most. And actually letting go of that situation has helped me really find out who I am, what my values are, what I really truly need. And it's also allowed me to set better boundaries with all other relationships in my life, because if I can do that with my mum, I can do that with anyone. And that really stuck to me when you said that, Claire, like I have gone through this, like I have, like we all have. And I think it's just remembering that sometimes the most toughest decisions are the most important for the longevity and the long-term results that we're going to need to be able to create the lives that we desire. And I think it's so important for us to even have these open conversations, because our goals change, our lives change, we change, our characteristics change, our taste changes. Do you know what I mean? Like I used to love blue, now I love purple. And that's okay. But I think just being in such a beautiful space, a safe space, to be able to have these conversations, to learn more about yourself, to grow and to let go and to move forward. Like I've never had this. This is like we're literally learning how to like love each other and parent ourselves and be there for each other. Like this is a community. This is something that I've always wanted. But it's powerful, but it's scary at the same time, because
it takes work. It doesn't come free. People think, this is something that I feel like that toxic spirituality is really falsely sold people, that these kind of relationships just, yes, they do naturally happen, but they just come. They don't come. They come with a lot of inner growth and a lot of dedication to self, to be holding as a human that higher state of consciousness. And that doesn't mean that you're better than anyone. That doesn't mean that your higher is quite misleading with this higher state and lower state. It's more just like the positive and negative feelings. We balance them out, because the ratio of that doesn't have to be 50-50. If we want to feel better, we make that choice and that decision to feel better. I noted down that it's more about so you're making the choice to feel better for yourself because you know what it feels like when you didn't make those choices, and you know how low you felt all the time, and you know what depths that can pull you down to if you're not careful, and if you're not realizing that you are a powerful human. yes, you are spiritual, yes, you are all this magnificentness as well, but you are human. Humans are highly complex beings, and understanding that, finding your group of people to embrace that, being able to hold these conversations so real, so raw, so natural, and so, like you say, comfortably with other people, that is how we shift. That is how we keep shifting, and that is how we make our huge, beautiful imprint of female self-love in this world. And that will ripple out in ways that I don't even know if we're ready for yet. I feel like this is all still preparation, because the more I listen to us ladies talk and the more it sinks into my soul, I'm like, wow, this is some big shifting that we're doing individually, collectively, the stories that we'll have to tell, the guidance that we've had through each other to be able to tell our stories. Like, I never felt comfortable telling my story, and I'm telling my story this weekend, and it keeps creeping up on me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I definitely needed this week of growth before I do that, because I was never in a place where I was in a very self-deprecative place where if I ever spoke about my story, it felt like I was just talking about myself, or it felt like I was just moaning about my life, or just, I've always been picked up on when I was younger for the me kind of conversation. Oh my God, Claire, do you ever shut up? That's what people say to me a lot. And I understand that that's just because we don't vibrate at the same frequency. My soul will not resonate with everyone. And the more kind and gentle you can be with that, I do feel like your well-being increases, because you're no longer giving other people the opportunity to bring you down just because they don't connect with what you say. There is somebody out there that does, and sometimes it's the strangest of people. I remember being sat in a coffee shop years ago when I was a photography student, and this gentleman, just a traveler, a lonesome man, came into the coffee shop, and he just wanted to sit with me, and we had such an amazing hour conversation just talking about life, where he'd been traveling. He was telling me about the stars that he'd seen, and I never saw him again, never had any contact exchange or anything like that. It was just a beautiful gift of a human interaction that I do often fear at the moment people are going to really struggle to recreate when we go back into the open world. So being able to hold and have those conversations with ladies like you, people and communities, what we've got here, it truly is a journey that, like you say, you imagined it and you dreamt it. And it's so funny when you were talking about this being your dream and PutUFirst being like the whole adventure with a mission and a passion behind it and a driving force behind it. I remember being on my own dreaming, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to be part of like a women's community that just helps one another, just like is there for one another. And that would be such a cool way to make an imprint in the world. And here it is, years down the line, it just swerves into your life and you're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Higher consciousness, here we come. And we help each other balance each other through that. And honestly, there's nobody I'd want to be more human with than you guys. Oh, I love it so much.
I'm so overwhelmed right now. I feel like my anxiety is through the roof with being so overwhelmed and in love. Is that a thing?
Yeah. Have you seen someone have a baby? Like, have you seen someone have a baby and you hold that baby and you're like overwhelmingly crying, like, oh my God.
I don't know, like, where I'm at. Like, I need, every time I feel something, it comes up, like, in a conversation we're having, or I need it. Like, I feel exactly the same. And for years, I didn't have the right people around me who wasn't on my level. And if it wasn't for the fact that I went traveling and met some amazing people who are now my best friends, who are plotted like all over the country, who get me. Because for 25 years, I had people that just put me down all the time, didn't get me, didn't get the same vibe. And you're made to feel like you need to be around these people that you've known for so long, but then you just don't. And I'm spiritual, but I'm not as spiritual as you guys. And the things that you say, I'm learning a lot more, about frequencies, and I'm not going to know I don't know a lot, but I get it. And when you're saying about going back a little bit to when you're saying about different things, going through different things, and how, yeah, I have got through it. and I have done this, and I'm just sometimes my worst enemy, where I sit there and I go, fuck yeah, I've got through that. But then you have these other things, and I like in all of these Put You First talks that we have and everything, and the negative people and the bad relationships, these are things that still haunt me now. And I think, why are these things the things I need to work on? Yet my mum died when I was 22. And you think that would be the worst thing in my life, but there's not actually anything in any of these seminars that I need to talk about her anymore. Like, it's not that I'm over it, because you never, but I get annoyed when then there's these little, really, and you put things into perspective, things that really shouldn't bother me, but they do. And I sit there and I go, well, I've got through that. Why am I going through this? And it's a really hard thing, because depending on my state of mind, I'm like, well, I can get through that. Of course I can. I've got through that. Or other times it's like, it's the end of the world just because of one negative person. And it's really trying to, right, like, own it, feel it, not beat yourself up. But I can say this today and tomorrow I will. And it's that really horrible battle where I know that I'm shifting. I know I've completely shifted to some different dimension, but I know I'm not there. And yeah, it's just so hard when you own it. And I think I'm going through a stage of my life as well at the moment where I think there's some people that just aren't getting it. Or I know they're probably sitting there going, God, what's she on about recently? And it's since I've met you guys, it's since my eyes have been opened, and I know I've done the work. I wouldn't have been able to have done the work without any of you guys. And like I said, I was scrolling past Amy's Insta that time, and you guys literally like fell in my lap, which was the best day. Thank God for scrolling Instagram sometimes, because they wouldn't be here. And yeah, it's just, I just feel, I'll get upset. I don't even know why. I'm just so overwhelmed with love and support. To think it's support from a bunch of women that I've never met. I feel like you're my best friends. Like, it's weird. I feel like I can just, I don't even know loads about all of you, but I feel like I do, because like we get each other on like an emotional, spiritual level that sometimes you don't need to know everyone's stories to know that you have a connection. Mm-hmm. And I surprise myself every day the more I talk to you guys. So thank you.
You're amazing. You are amazing.
Amazing. Do you know what, one thing I want to say, and this is something that I'm realizing, energy doesn't lie. When you're around people, you feel resonance. And when we talk about frequencies, the reason why I like to say frequencies other than levels, because when you say levels, and that sounds, sometimes it can be quite, you're not on my level.
Yeah.
Not humble. Listen, we're all on different frequencies. We're all vibrating. If you see it as like someone's here, someone's here. Yeah, me and Nat might be here. We're vibrating on the same frequency. When we come together, our tuning forks are setting each other off, and we're vibrating at the same frequency. Yeah. Whereas my mum might be over here. It's not to say me and Nat are up here and she's down there. She's over here and we're here. Mm-hmm. It means that sometimes you might be over here in this frequency, vibrating at this different resonance, and then you come towards people like me and Nat who are vibrating at this frequency, and then these people obviously are here, but these are the people that you're used to being around. So this might be your comfort zone. So when
hell zone.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you're moving away, these people over here are going, what are they doing over there? Like, what are they talking about?
And this middle bit is so uncomfortable because we're changing You're like, what way do I go? I like it over there, it's really light, but the darkness keeps pulling me back, and that's my comfort zone. And it's a lot. I mean, Charlie's had to talk me through this because I was getting in my state of, do they think that I'm better than them? And then she was like, no, you're creating that paradigm. You're not above them in any way. You're just on a different frequency. You're all on the same wavelength, but there's just
in the same existence, just vibrating at different frequencies. And do you know what? You might have someone who's here who you was here with, who actually helped you get from here to here. But if you get there, they might take a little bit more time to get there, and that's okay. But also, I think it's so important that you recognize when you're feeling better and then you're having this different fault, or this common fault, should we say, because it's not really different, it's actually quite common, that's probably the thoughts that you've had predominantly most of your life, and you're rewriting that now. So imagine it as like a baby. You've got like a teenager that's maybe 18 years old, 19 years old. For my instance, I got brought into the law of attraction when I was 19. So I've got a 19-year-old, 19-year-old teenager, thinks they know everything, got themselves to where they are, like no one can tell me nothing. And then I've got this, well, now it's I'm 27 now, so I've got an 8-year-old paradigm. Don't get me wrong, this 8-year-old is strong, but it weren't. And it took a lot of persistence and keep believing in the better thoughts, keep adding more energy to the light rather than the dark. And I've come up with a new saying this week: I choose the light because that is my right. Yeah, regardless to what other people want, regardless to what other people believe in, I choose the light. I choose to have faith in what I believe and my life and myself and my future and my goals, because that is my right. If people want to down tread on that, that's their business. That's not because they don't believe in me. That's because they don't believe that they can achieve it. And now you're going to be faced with a lot of that along this journey now, because your frequency is shifting. So just remember that when you do have these negative thoughts come up, please reach out to one of us, because I still have these thoughts on a daily basis, and I will tell you what they are, and then I will tell that thought to do one, because that's definitely not what I want to add value to.
I'm just a bit, I guess, like you're saying, it's only been a month, 2 months that I've been like this, you know. I need to remember that.
Your transformation inspires us on a daily basis. So anytime that you feel like you're not doing enough, believe me when I tell you, you are doing the most.
The most.
Like, the most. I'm not even messing you up. Like, we're so proud of you. We're so blessed to have you in our circle. Like, we love you.
Make me cry.
Oh, I love you all so much.
I love
keyboards
you.
out then, like actual keyboard. Then I realised it was
just gonna play as a tune.
Yeah.
Just realised, so I'm like thinking, oh God, it's are you joining the?
Oh yes. Well, we better go.
Yeah.
Video too,
Video switch
and everything. On to the next webinar, ladies. I love you so much. Thank you for sharing this space with us, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Love you. Bye. Thank you.